Hello. Hi, everybody. This is Kathy Frey from IMCO, from the International Integrative Maternity Healthcare Organisation. And welcome to this week's webinar, where we are very pleased today to be inviting Nina Ketcher. Now, do you want to do say hello, Nina, and tell us all the correct way to pronounce your surname?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nina Ketcher, and it's a German last name. So the S and the C are together. So Nina Ketcher. Thank you.
And Nina is currently talking to us from Germany, but you'll hear an American accent there as well. So it will be good to get a little bit of background on your interesting travels. And but let's just give you a little bit of an introduction here as well. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is that miraculous bond um, uh, of conscious. Nina's going to be talking about the conscious parenting, conscious practices, but really starting them from right at the beginning, from preconception and in the womb. Which she's going to have the format today is she will have a PowerPoint presentation that will go for about half an hour or so. And of course, anybody watching live is welcome to go into the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen and type in any questions that you have, and we'll absolutely make sure that Nina will answer those questions. And also, as normal, if you're a regular here, we'd love you to go into the chat section as well and let us know whereabouts you are in the world and your role as a health professional, whether you're a birth practitioner or another area of maternity, a holistic healthcare, or maybe you're a mum who's expecting a baby. And so maybe you're both. So we'd love to hear from you. And just to give you a little bit of an overview about Nina Ketcher, she is a holistic and integrative therapist working with mothers and babies and children and parents, and trained in both Western psychology, so somatic, pre and perinatal, and energy healing, but also trained in Eastern healing wisdom. So I love that we all do here, where you've got that combination of the East and the West. And Nina expands upon commonly known practices for supporting healthy conception, pregnancy, birth, and parenting. And the sessions that she runs and her workshops gently release past traumas and lovingly supports the ways to optimize that womb environment before, during, and after pregnancy. So this is really fantastic information that we can pass on to our clients and incorporate into our practices, and the knowledge and the practices that she'll be teaching us potentially allow a more conscious connection between that mother and baby. So yeah, a big welcome to Nina. It's quite late at night at the moment for her, so we do appreciate you coming in now. So a big hello. And I will we've got a few little chats coming in here. We've got midwives coming in from Canada and from New Zealand. So this is just great. So welcome, Nina. And let me hand over to you for you to take over.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. And thank you, everyone who's here watching now and watching in the future. It's a pleasure to share with you a little bit about where I've been on my journey, but also ways in which we can all, as practitioners, mothers, grandparents, and women in general, really support and nurture these incoming babies and children and ourselves with some just really powerful wisdoms that have been passed down from generation to generation through indigenous and ancient wisdom cultures. And I'm going to be sharing with you a PowerPoint presentation today, and I'm going to share that with you now. So the title of the presentation today is The Miraculous Bond. and conscious practices to support and empower a mother's ability to create and nurture strong and healthy babies and children. Every relationship between a mother and child is miraculous, and it is imperative, especially in challenging times and now, that this bond is strengthened, we encourage connection, we encourage nurturing that connection, and then strengthening the innate ability of that mother to heal, protect, bless, and be the greatest well-wisher and healer for her child. And here's just a beautiful image of a family in this moment of their creation and connecting in this beautiful way. And this could be any constellation of families. We have in our cultures not only male and females, but we have both same-sex relationships and many different family constellations to appreciate moments like this in. Dr. Wendy Ann McCarty, who is an author of Welcoming Consciousness, a wonderful book if you have an opportunity to read it. She states the primary period for human development occurs from preconception through the first year of postnatal life. And this is the time in which vital foundations are established at every level of being: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and relational. And Barbara von Dyson, in her book, Womb Prints, another recommended book, shares that in Lloyd de Mauzé's words, mental life begins in the womb in a fetal drama, which is remembered and elaborated upon by later childhood events. Patterns are actually imposed upon the musculature and then on the cortex itself, as it imprints memories which remain like a permanent motion picture to influence our conscious and future reactions. Dr. Bruce Lipton, in his book, Nature, Nurture, and the Power of Love, shares that the activation of the programs of the genes is controlled by the atmosphere of the environment, more precisely by the perception the organism has of this atmosphere. Maternal emotions as anxiety or anger, or on the contrary, love and hope, influence biochemically the selection and the rewriting of the genetic code of the child in utero, with very profound evolutionary consequences on future generations. Parents-to-be are real genetic engineers. It is urgent for them to be informed. It's very empowering as a parent and also as a practitioner to empower parents to know how important their role is in their child's development on all levels of their being. Dr. Roland McCready from the HeartMath Institute, there's a website that you can go and explore more, which I highly recommend, shares that we are engaged in communicating through highly complex, nonverbal form of linguistics, of which our language is only a reflection. So that's saying there's more than meets the eye, or there's sound beyond what we hear. This other mode is accessed through the heart, as it feels the impact on us of the meanings we encounter. The heart is very central. There is an electromagnetic field that surrounds us as humans, that runs around us about 10 feet or so they've measured. And it is affected by frequencies, other electromagnetic frequencies. And this is an image as you can see, of how when we are in proximity to one another, our fields overlap each other, and we receive information through that field, and that connects us all together. HeartMath also looks at something called heart coherence. When we are anxious, our heart rate has a very intense rhythm that can be detected. But when we are in a state of coherence, our heart rhythm is more even and wave-like. It regulates the autonomic nervous system, which in turn gives a feedback loop and between the mother and the child, and this goes into the form of co-regulation. So when a mother regulates her autonomic nervous system through practices such as AdHeart and heart coherence, then she is automatically transferring that heart coherence to her baby in utero. Our blueprint. Ayurveda teaches us that we have a constitution, a blueprint, which is our individual psychobiological makeup from the moment of conception. This individual constitution is created by the universal energies of space, air, fire, water, and earth. These are the 5 elements that is made up of all of creation. Ray Castellino taught extensively about our blueprint and how we can experience imprints before, during, and after birth, as well as ways to heal the imprints we may have experienced in order to return to our blueprint. And this is essential because this is how we know who we are, and we feel acknowledged and seen, heard, and loved when we are connected with our blueprint. Dr. John Chitty, in his book, Working with Babies, a 5-part therapy method for infants and their families, speaks about the blueprint referring to the system's original design, expressed as a slow, symmetrical, tide-like movement. Imprint refers to adaptations that have arisen to manage difficult experiences in the past. These are expressed as faster, less symmetrical movements and tissue patterns, just like we can see with the heart coherence. Yin and Yang refers to the universal observation that the world exists in a great dualistic interplay of polarized complementary phenomena. And abundant neuroscience research confirms the value of ancient wisdom traditions in resolving mental and emotional suffering. And this is taken from an excerpt of the Dalai Lama's Destructive Emotions and How We Can Overcome Them. So we'll take a moment here to just take a deep breath in. And this is a beautiful image of a baby elephant. And you can see the mother really standing over and protecting. We see that with children as well. They tend to want to be under their moms or near their moms, holding on. And here's an image of me pregnant with my son some years ago. And I was optimizing the womb environment. Here I was out in the nature and I was meditating a lot. And I spend a lot of time with positive intention, gratitude for what I had in my life, and setting beautiful blessings and connecting with my baby in the womb through talking to him and listening also to what maybe he had to share. So it's important that we look at optimizing the womb environment in and around us for really creating a miraculous bond. and we are all conscious vibration. Everything in this entire universe, down to the cellular level of our bodies, is vibration. And George Leonard in The Silent Pulse shares, at the heart of each of us, whatever our imperfections, there exists a silent pulse of perfect rhythm, made up of waveforms and resonances, which is absolutely individual and unique, and yet which connects us to everything in the universe. To rephrase, at the heart of each of us is the divine energy. And when we can access that divine energy, that universal energy that connects us to everything, we truly experience our human selves. The water element. On the planet, there is mostly water. And we, as human beings, are also mostly made of water, 75 to 80%. Dr. Masaru Emoto, he researched water molecules, and he wrote a book called The Hidden Messages in Water. Also a recommended reading if you haven't read it. And here are some images of some water molecules with different environments. The Mozart Symphony, someone holding the water and, thinking of the word peace, or the song Imagine by John Lennon, or even just the word thank you. Look at how beautiful that water molecule is. And love, what a crystal that is. And then I want to draw your attention to the right side. You see the Fujiwara water before prayer. It's kind of a blob-like, it doesn't really have a structure. And then after, some Tibetan monks prayed over this water. Look at the water molecule now, the one below it. Beautiful. His studies have shown that our thoughts, our messages, our prayers affect the structure of water molecules. Negative thoughts or intention create disharmony and disorganized patterns and appear blob-like, while positive and loving thoughts and intention create harmony, symmetry, and look healthy like a beautiful crystal. Water itself is a conductor or a transmitter of energy, of vibration. So the womb experience for the baby in utero is that they're floating in this beautiful amniotic fluid, this water-like substance, 80 to 90%. So think about how that baby is experiencing the environment around them, because every vibration that is hitting or coming in contact with the mother in her environment has an impact and impression upon that baby in utero. When we are growing inside the mother's womb, we are developing surrounded by the water element, the amniotic fluid. We receive nutrients through the placenta, through the blood, and we are linked to our mothers through our umbilical cord, which attaches at the navel. When the water element is out of balance in us or around us, we can become emotionally unstable and disease can set in, or dis-ease can set in. Whatever thoughts we have before conception, during pregnancy, and during birth and after is transmitted through the water element in us to our growing baby. Now I want to talk a little bit about sound and how that affects cellular vibration. Because after all, how we vibrate matters. John Reed, creator of the cymoscope in the field of cymatics, shares that sound is just as much at work in the interior of a star as it is in the organs of a starfish or in the cells of your body. Sound lies at the heart of every aspect of nature, underpinning all of creation. Water, with its highly flexible and sensitive surface tension, reacts almost instantly to any sound, revealing high levels of detail. The shape of sound is a bubble. Whether the sound is emitted from your voice or from other source, such as a musical instrument, this bubble in a hurry leaves a fleeting vibrational imprint on the surface of your body. Every cell in the surface tissues of your body actually receives these sound patterns from the bubbles that surround you. Here's an image of the sound bubble with some mathematical equation. At the moment when two atoms or molecules collide, which is the basic definition of sound, something quite magical happens. Light is created. So you can try this experiment right now with me if you'd like. You can rub your hands vigorously together. You'll feel warmth. And this is because the atoms in one hand are slipping past the atoms in your other hand, creating heat, which is just another name for light. The light you create by this friction method is in the infrared part of the spectrum of electromagnetism, invisible to our eyes, but quite visible to some species of bat, owl, snake, and mosquito. So why is this important? In order for cell-to-cell communication to occur, it needs to happen in the infrared light of the electromagnetic spectrum. And you can see when it moves outside of that infrared spectrum, we move into unhealthy or more challenging EMF or electromagnetic frequencies. This inhibits our cell-to-cell communication, whereas when we come into the infrared light of the electromagnetism spectrum, then we are improving our cell-to-cell communication. So when we create more vibration or use sound to increase that light in us, then our cells are communicating in a beautiful way. And when we're doing that, we're communicating beautifully to our baby in utero. So it's not only the sound that creates the effect of the sound, but also the intention of the person making the sound. There was a beautiful experiment that took place about intention and a group of people coming together and sending love. And through their intention of sending love, they saw a significant increase in red blood cell count. And this was miraculous. The vowel sounds that we have in many of our languages and in many traditions, such as Hebrew Kabbalah to Tibetan Buddhism, these are sacred vibrations, and particular vowel sounds can be chanted without any religious conflicts, and still everyone can experience the benefits of chanting. And here is an image of the vowel sound ah. And this is often you'll hear a woman in the birthing process making this sound ah. And when you use sound to increase the amount of vowels and the resonance that these vowels have in our bodies, we create more light in our beings. And this light brings us closer to our blueprint, who we really are, and why we're here on this planet. Here's a beautiful image of a mother bird with her baby bird. Again, that closeness, that bond between a mother and her baby. You see it in nature and you see it in humans. Coming to more conscious practices to really support and empower the mother's ability to create and love and heal and guide, protect and bless her child at every stage of that child's development. Even now, if you've already had your children, and even as a practitioner, giving these practices or these abilities to them to give the greatest support that they can to their child. Dr. Wendy Ann McCarty shares about the beauty of our fuller understanding of babies and their prenatal and perinatal experience is to help in the inseparable relationship between their transcendental self, as I've named the divine self, and human self, in their synergistic relational whole. Holographic principles suggest that our three-dimensional reality is a product of the interaction of non-local and local experience. And we see that with the electromagnetic field. There's a lot going on that we don't see, but we experience it, both the non-local and the local level. The transcendent self and human self form a synergistic whole self that I call the integrated self. I describe the integrated self as a holonomic, holographic, self-organizing, dynamic self-system. This ever-evolving relationship is an intimate dance with each perspective informing and changing with experience of the other. I believe our human potential lies in our ability to align our human self-experience with our primary non-local transcendental consciousness to create the most coherent and clear channel between them. I'd like to share with you now some ways in which you can create that coherent channel between both the transcendental self and your human self, or the divine self and your human self. And that is through learning and knowing and practicing the womb chakra knowledge and practices. The womb chakra is the soul's energy, and it is a creation center in both men and women. Each of us, women and men, according to ancient wisdom, have a womb chakra, linking us to our mother's womb through an ancestral line past to future. The womb chakra contains our soul spark, who we truly are, and what our purpose is in life. If that spark is turned down by environmental toxins such as abuse, stress, trauma, heartbreak, and depression, etc., then who we are becomes clouded and we lose our sense of self. We feel lost, alone, afraid, and separated from our source, our origin, or our divinity, and inevitably dis-ease sets in. If we do not heal our past, then we cannot make a positive and peaceful change for the future. Unless our soul spark is re-enlivened and we continue to experience, then we continue to experience unnecessary suffering, pain, disease, and with or without our notice, we pass those imprints and patterns onto our children and grandchildren through cellular consciousness. This is my teacher, Sri Kaleshwar, a saint from India, who shares about the womb chakra. The real benefit coming is to grow the womb as a holy place. On the planet, the womb means the most beautiful temple, the most holy place in your body, the highest energy place in your body, the highest clarity place in your body. And here is an image of him reading ancient palm leaf manuscripts containing sacred spiritual formulas for self-healing, for empowerment, and for healing others. And he is especially focused on the women, their innate abilities as creators and as nurturers for children, and how important it was to strengthen the womb chakra in both women and men in order to facilitate change and health and well-being for our future generations. He gave ways and a process to purify that womb chakra in all of us. And this purification works on the soul level. It purifies the karmas and heals the past. And this brings light, if you will, to our souls and allows our soul spark, or what we've come here to do in this life, shine bright. And maintaining the vibrations of our womb chakra has a long-lasting ripple effect, not only on how we see ourselves, how much we love ourselves, but how we are in relationship with our partner, with our child, and with our family and our peers. This transgenerationally, this healing goes transgenerationally back through our mother's womb and her mother's womb and so on, all the way back to where our souls were first created in this universal divine mother's womb. This benefits forward our children and future generations. So even if you've had your children, working to heal this chakra in you and purify it strengthens not only your soul spark, but it is transmitted then to your children, and it increases their soul spark just by you doing that healing work for yourself. A mother can bring enlightenment to the baby she's carrying in her womb. She can make her child into a pure, crystal, divine soul. Maintain your vibrations. Maintain your womb chakra. The womb chakra is completely different. It is beyond all chakras. The womb chakra is coming from many lifetimes, what you're carrying with you. That energy we call essence. The mother is the #1 healer in the universe. A mother can heal instantly because she has the same blood as her child. There is a miraculous bond between a mother and her child. She has the highest commanding ability for healing and blessing and protecting her child through simple ways of intention, through more specific ways like healing the womb chakra or using meditation, mantras to support the development of their relationship and their bond through all stages of their child's development. Whatever the mother prays on the child, it heals that soul. So that's very powerful. Any prayer that a mother gives to her child is working on that soul level to heal. It's beautiful. And this is a teaching from my teacher, Sri Kaleshwar. a little bit more about the research on the benefits of meditation. Some of you may be familiar and some of you may not. So I wanted to take a moment to share some highly referenced studies by the Vivekananda Yoga Research Foundation in India, who found that for 169 pregnant women, a daily yoga and meditation practice significantly improved birth weight, reduced premature births, and lessened the overall medical complications for newborns. With a highly referenced University of California, Davis study, meditation has been shown over and over again to drop cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone, by staggering amounts, with 50% as quite the common finding. Cutting stress hormones in half not only completely relaxes an expectant mom's mind and body, but her little one also basks in this magnificent state of tranquility. The effect of mantra on plants, living beings, and humans is well documented and supported by research. The U.S. National Library of Medicine has a notable abstract titled Effect of Mantras on Human Beings and Plants, in which the author, during his various experiments on plants, found that these, from the stage of seedling to maturity, are affected by certain types of sound waves, especially the mantras. This study reveals that the plants have shown a positive response to this type of particular sound waves regarding the growth efficacy in curing the diseases that those plants had. Sanskrit language, in particular, has been demonstrated to be more predictably impactful on body and mind. Most mantras are Sanskrit. This may be due to the ancient roots of Sanskrit, the mother of all languages. Most modern languages evolved from Sanskrit, with the exception of indigenous languages of America, Africa, and Australia. In part, the impact of ancient Sanskrit mantras on our unconscious minds, as suggested by Carl Gustav Jung. He says that Sanskrit is also very rhythmic and to some extent mimics nature's sounds, which have been proven in numerous studies to have a profound impact on our minds. This is a study that was done on mindfulness meditation as well as mantra meditation. And this is an image of a MRI scan of the brain after mindfulness meditation. And you can see how lit and light filled the brain is when practicing such meditations. And I would like to propose that more studies can be done on mantra meditations, especially specific ones that are for fertility, conscious conception, pregnancy, birth, and each stage of a child's development. As I mentioned, there are mantras for fertility and for a healthy and protected pregnancy and birth of mother and baby. There are mantras to strengthen the soul's energy, which supports all levels, body, mind, and heart. Healings for a pregnant mom and baby, and blessings. They can receive a blessing of protection and health. And there are ways that a mother can bless her child as it is crowning. And this is a beautiful practice using simple prayer and intention. Mantras to calm and help babies and children go to sleep, which we know can be very helpful for new moms. and dads, partners, can heal children from addiction through the use of mantras and healing, and support teenagers with their healthy sexual desires and being in right relationship with themselves and others. And there are mantras to support consciousness at every stage of human development. So when a child is going through these developmental doors, you could say, to really support and nurture them in that time with the vibrational support of mantras increases the environment around them and within them, soul to soul, between mother and child. And fathers can also do these mantras for their children, and grandparents as well. I've experienced many grandparents doing these mantras for their grandbabies. And also as practitioners, you can be using mantra to support and facilitate a calmer, protected birth, pregnancy and birth for your clients. When we combine mantra and yantra, we create a new high divine energy. And when we talk about a mantra, we're talking about those vowel sounds or those vibrational seeds, which is the formlessness, that non-local, that is then brought into sound. And then when we combine that with our own form, and if you can imagine then, because of that water element in the womb, we're using the mantra with the form to create this new high divine energy, which is actually a union energy between the masculine and the feminine, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And when we experience both, then we actually are connected with our divine and our human self. And when we lose that connection, then we don't feel in union, we feel disconnected. So the practice of mantra plus yantra helps us to come back to our blueprint, to our original essence, and keep us connected there with that. So I would like to now give a little experience for you. So just take a moment to notice how you're feeling. That was a lot of information I just shared. So just take a deep breath. And just notice what you're sitting on and if your feet are touching the ground. And just notice if you have any particular pain in your body or discomfort. You don't have to change it, but just notice it. We're just aware, being aware. And you can close your eyes if you'd like to. I'm going to sing for you now a mantra called the Gayatri mantra. And this mantra is one of the top mantras that you can give to a pregnant woman to chant herself, to listen to. I have recordings of this mantra. And also for you to do during your work with them. So you can take a moment and get comfortable. And I will sing the mantra 3 times. And I will come back to you then. savitur varenyam Bargo devasya dhimahi Dio yo naha prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasuah Tat Savitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio yo naha prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasuah Tat Savitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio yo naha prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So just notice how you're feeling after hearing and receiving the vibrations, even through Zoom. And when you feel ready and in your own timing, so important to honor your own timing and the timing of these babies, and when they're wanting to come in and when they're wanting to be born. And as you come back into space, you'll see and open your eyes an image of my son. And this was him, I think he was about maybe 3 years old. And he was listening to me singing. It was a music concert for children that I did. And you can see he was a bit in the bliss here. And I sang a lot, and I also drummed with a two-sided drum, an Indian drum called a dholak, when I was pregnant with him. And the vibration of the drum and the vibration of my singing brought him into this state. The love never fails in the universe. Love is love. It's a huge energy. Only through love, the whole universe is running. If there is no love, there is no creation. That love creates the faith. That faith creates the big wisdom, a good understanding nature. Just put the seed of love in them, divine love. Try to make your children to know about the divine love, then they will be fine. If a mother does certain processes, every child who comes from her will get real knowledge. They will be very glorious persons and be so happy. They will know what is true, what is false, and what is reality. They will know how to handle negativity and have high willpower and commanding ability and not go into depression. These are all abilities the mother can give when the baby is growing in her womb. And I just love this image of this mom and this baby. Their co-regulation, it's beautiful. Skin to skin contact. Barbara Van Dyson shares, there's something wonderful about people who have an original, undamaged connection to themselves. from proper bonding and a good womb and birth experience. They have trust in life at a deep level. When there's a crisis, they fall back to that sense of self and trust in the universe. Their context is trust and love. So imagine what a wonderful world this would be as we rebalance, purify our limiting beliefs, and heal trauma in our body, mind, and hearts, as we connect, nurture, and grow our soul spark, our divinity, while being human. Our present and future generations will be welcomed and acknowledged as a divine gift to this world. Children will be embraced and supported, held with love and aligned with their purpose in life. And our elders will also be honored and ushered out of this creation in the most beautiful and sacred ways. And this is a benefit for the whole of our humanity. Here's some resources from today. Not all of them I was able to share with you. A couple pages here. And thank you very much for your participation and being with me today to hear what I had to share and to nurture this miraculous bond that we have with our children and to help mothers and babies nurture that bond with each other. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nina. That was just beautiful. And your mantra was just spectacular. Being able to, I was in a situation of being able to completely zone into that. I know that some of us watching will be in the middle of driving and doing, well, not watching and driving, but listening and driving and doing other things. But if you were busy at the time of that, it would be good to watch the video again later when you've got a moment, when you do have some peaceful time to yourself to enjoy that. It was just beautiful. I think there was some really interesting things there that a lot of us will have some new words that particularly that have come in there. I love the soul spark. That's just a neat term that we all sort of get goosebumps and understand what that means. To shine bright. Your mentor, Shri Kalishwa, I just love the comments is saying, the womb is the most holy, the highest energy, the highest clarity place in the body. I think that is just so often just not even forgotten. It's just not known. And yeah, we have, that's just beautiful. The womb chakra, that's not something that people talk about very much. We hear about all these other chakras, the 7 main chakras, and there's certainly a lot of limited knowledge on that. And going back to that benefits of the meditation, I think that that is, definitely research that people are paying more attention to now, with that daily yoga and daily meditation, how much difference that the results that it has within well-researched outcomes, of that better birth weights, reduced premature labours, lessened overall neonatal medical complexities, etc. So fantastic. And I think the word yantra would be new to a few of us. So, that knowing that mantra is, of course, that sort of sacred utterance, and the yantra is that sacred geometry. I have a practical question, and that's, I guess, the pragmatic person of me coming out. But with the when you are doing a meditation, and you're using that sacred utterance, the numerous sort of sound of the mantra, but you've got your eyes closed, So, whereas when you're meditating with sacred geometry, those kind of mystical diagrams, you tend to be looking at them, and so is that kind of the like eyes open, eyes closed?
It's a great question. Another word for yantra would be chakra. You could say it's kind of the energy or the essence or the structure. And the chakras in the body are a structure for the energies. And there are more than just the 7 that are named in typical yoga practice. And the reason why we haven't heard much about the womb chakra is because this knowledge has been kept hidden and only passed down from teacher to student for thousands of years. This knowledge has not been well known amongst humanity. And it was my teacher's, you could say his work, his life purpose, to bring this knowledge out to large groups of students who will then take this knowledge into the world to share with the greater humanity. So we are all a part of passing this knowledge and information along to our future generations. And
it comes directly into that purifying and healing of that womb chakra.
absolutely,
In both sexes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it impacts, when you heal that womb chakra, which is on the soul level, it impacts all of the other chakras in the body.
Mm.
And to answer your question about eyes open or eyes closed, it's good to stay present when you're meditating, and the use of mantra is helping also for you to go beyond the mind, this what we call the monkey mind, or the mind that is just running and isn't quiet and thinking about what I have to do next or the dinner that I need to make, which it happens. But the practice of mantra is to help bring our awareness back to a point like when our 2 eyes are closed, our 3rd eye opens. Our higher consciousness opens. So when you're meditating with your 2 eyes closed, your 3rd eye is open. When you open your 2 eyes, your 3rd eye usually closes. The practice of mantra and yantra is about keeping both eyes open as you're walking through your daily life.
Lovely.
But it's a practice,
Yeah.
and it's really nurturing that connection that those abilities that we have, that we lost so many years ago, what we can do now today with these knowledge and practices that I've shared a little bit about with you today.
Actually, talking about sharing as we wind this up, so those that have registered to attend this webinar, be it live or watching it later, will be receiving a email with some other resources of information there that will automatically come through Zoom. But for those who are watching this later down the track, perhaps through our website links, could you just let us know now some of those your contact details or website or resources you'd like to share?
Sure. My website is yoursoulsspark.com. So Your Souls Spark. And my email is nina@yoursoulspark.com. And you can find resources there. And I also, in the email, have included a link. I'm not sure how that can be accessible in the future, but people who have participated can receive a recording of the Gayatri mantra that I sang for everyone today.
That's so wonderful. And then that can be passed on by these health professionals and birth practitioners to their clients. and
Yes.
you know, so we're sharing it, and just wonderful. Look, it's just been absolutely fabulous having you here, and it just, yeah, if you, is there anything? Oh, we've got some comments coming in here. Thank you, Nina. Was an amazing presentation, and gold for a midwife to apply to a practice. If a woman experiences disruption in birth that grieves her, um, you can guide us into that chakra that helps, and that's wonderful. And yes, we'll very much be sharing that recording. Yes, and the recording of this as well. So those that have registered for the webinar will be receiving a link in 24 hours from now, or 23 hours from now, with the a link for the webinar video if you want to re-watch that or re-listen to it. So look, that's just fabulous. Thank you so much for your time. And anything else that you just want to add before we close for the day?
Just thank you, everyone, for the work that you do in supporting moms and babies and children. And, you know, it's time for us to keep nurturing our divine and human connection. And when we do that work for ourselves, automatically those who we are in contact with, remember that electromagnetic field, they start to experience those vibrations and they are automatically lifted up. So we have such an ability to help and heal each other. And I just bless everyone as you go out into the world. Thank you so much for all that you are. And thank you, Kathy. I appreciate being here with you today.
Yeah, I thank you for your time, because I know it's late, it's after midnight now for you. And so look, thanks for those that come in live. It's always really nice to have the live audience, as I know the majority of our audience are watching it later. But like, great to have, because of course you're all over the world and in all different times. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see some of you next week. Okay, bye.
Bye.